Hello, my name is Alejandra Cortes and I'm an architect and I'm from Chile. I'm an academic at the Faculty of Architecture and Planning at the University of Chile and I'm currently doing my PhD at RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia. I'm also part of the Energy Poverty Network in Chile since 2016 when we started to develop this network. My presentation is called The Background of Energy Poverty in South Chile and is based on my PhD research called The Dynamics of Energy Culture in Coyhaique City, Chile. I'm currently in my first year of studies, so in this presentation I will introduce the research problem that justified this investigation, and then I will continue explaining why Coyhaique City is an interesting case study. So, one of the research problems identified in my study is that residential energy efficiency interventions can mitigate energy poverty, but these outcomes are not guaranteed. Under this statement, there are two important definitions. First, residential energy efficiency interventions may include a diverse variety of insulation measures and technical system upgrades aiming to improve the energy efficiency of an existing dwelling, such as the improvement of the thermal performance of a building envelope like ceiling and wall insulation, as well as the improvement of the heating and cooling systems. And second, energy poverty may be defined as the absence of sufficient choice in accessing adequate, affordable, reliable, high-quality, safe, and environmentally benign energy services to support economic and human development. The recently launched Green Deal from the European Union stresses the need for member states to address energy poverty and highlights energy efficiency improvements as an effective means to alleviate energy poverty. Although energy efficiency interventions may improve thermal comfort and reduce energy expenditure, the literature shows that there are social aspects that influence the expected outcomes. In Europe, research has shown that the fall in energy consumption of retrofitted dwelling is much less than the predicted or projected energy savings. Still, a limited number of studies seek to provide an holistic picture of energy poverty experiences and the social material structure underpinning them. So, why Chile is an interesting country to study? In Chile, we have energy efficiency intervention programs, but they have not followed the same policy targets than European countries or developed countries. The literature shows that most policies behind residential energy efficiency interventions aim to reduce fossil fuel reliance, mitigate climate change, achieve carbon emission reductions, and more recently, to mitigate energy poverty. On the other hand, policies tackling energy poverty in most developed countries have been focused in the economic inequalities associated with excessive energy cost, whereas in most developing countries, energy poverty is linked to access to modern energy services, particularly electricity. However, in Chile, more than 99% of households have access to electricity, so the main problem is affordability rather than access. In South Chile, where my case study is located, energy efficiency interventions are implemented as part of the policies to reduce pollutants emission from the residential firewood combustion used for heating and cooking. Although policies were not designed to overcome energy poverty, they have the potential to mitigate this condition, especially in social housing. So, while the same mechanisms are used in Chile and developed countries, the policy objectives are different. The literature shows that historically the causes of energy poverty were considered through the triad of high energy prices, poor housing energy efficiency, and low incomes. The literature also shows that rates and indicators of energy poverty are overwhelmingly expressed in the number or percentages of households. And some authors have stated that metrics and indicators being used have practical barriers linked to limited databases, lack of contextualized energy use issues, and the need of methodological innovation. In Chile, researchers have estimated energy poverty using international indicators. From their studies, it's possible to infer that around 15% of the national population is under an energy poverty condition, rising in the Southern Territory up to 25%. Also, these estimations suggest that in Chile, energy poverty is not only related to acute poverty, but may also be a problem at middle-income families. On the other hand, the Energy Poverty Network built a new definition to propose a territorialized approach to energy poverty through the three dimensions of access, quality, and equity. And the network also acknowledges the limited databases and information available in the country to build a more accurate indicator. I will show you some data that is interesting to contextualize energy poverty in Chile. As you can see in the graph on the top right of the slide, in Chile, the yellow bar in the graph, the price of electricity is higher than the average of the OECD countries. Chile has similar prices than Spain. Nevertheless, the minimum salary in Chile is almost a third of those in Spain. As you can see in the graph below, this high price tendency has been projected to continue in the next years. In Aysén region, where Coyhaique city is located, 94% of households use firewood for heating and 35% for cooking. The firewood represents the cheapest and most affordable source of energy, and in the region it is an available energy source. As you can see in the left bottom graph, it has been estimated that 77% of housing stock in Coyhaique was built before 2000, year when the Energy Building Code was enforced in the country. Therefore, all dwellings built before 2000 were constructed without thermal insulation requirements. So it's possible to state that in Chile, social housing households that have not yet received thermal retrofits are likely to be in a condition of energy poverty, as they are economically vulnerable, living in social housing that lacks energy efficiency, and living in a country with high energy prices. So why Coyhaique City is an interesting case study? The 2019 World Air Quality Report for particulate matter 2.5, also called fine particles, ranked Chile as the second country most polluted from Latin America, and Coyhaique City was reported as the most polluted city from Latin America. Coyhaique City is the capital city of Aysén region. Aysén is located between parallel 44 and 49 south latitude. It is the third largest region in Chile and the one with less inhabitants per square kilometer. Half of its surface is within national protected wild areas, containing over 35% of the country's native forests and one of the largest freshwater reserves on the planet. Coyhaique is an extreme south city with particularly cold winters and can be considered geographically isolated. Both characteristics contribute to energy poverty. It is acknowledged that the residential sector is the main source of pollutant emissions, and key factors exacerbating the pollutions are the high demand of firewood for heating due to poor building insulation and low temperatures during the year, low cost of firewood compared to other energy sources and availability of this resource in both formal and informal market, the use of humid firewood in all appliances with lack of appropriate technology, and the behavior of firewood consumers, such as preferences and habits. Some cultural aspects have been identified in the literature regarding the use of firewood in Coyhaique. More than 30% of households use firewood for cooking in Aysén region. There are cultural barriers for technology change of heating appliances. Households perceive more heating capacity of firewood compared to other energy sources. There is a positive perception of home despite the lack of building insulation, and also the preferences and habits of firewood use linked to cultural roots. The atmospheric decontamination plan in Coyhaique contemplates four main strategies: heating appliance replacement, residential thermal retrofit, control of the firewood market, and educational campaign. The first two strategies are subsidies for energy efficiency interventions. They are led by two different government ministries and involve two separate processes. As you can see on the right side of the slide, more than 7,900 heating appliances have been changed, and more than 1,600 dwellings have done a thermal retrofit since the atmospheric decontamination plan was enforced. However, no studies have evaluated both programs from the perspective of their occupants, and by responding to this knowledge gap, this research will explore the dynamic interaction between energy efficiency interventions and the changes on energy culture, and how material changes may trigger or limit the household capability to overcome energy poverty. So to conclude, this research proposal was developed to investigate an overlooked problem in Chile that has significant economic, environmental, and social impacts on the most vulnerable groups of the country. Top-down and centralized policies that seek to reduce environmental problems have been designed without recognizing the cultural factors that characterize energy use in the south of the country. Moreover, the programs have not been assessed from households' perspective to co-construct policies through a bottom-up approach. Recognizing energy poverty of geographically isolated territories could allow for the development of policies that better respond to local needs, and therefore enhance the effectiveness of public policies and public spending. So that's my presentation, and many thanks.